You have 10 minutes. Slow and steady might win the race. Your goal is to fill your big cup. You have your spoon, and that's all that can be in your hands. Ready? Okay, go.
It's one of the most nutritious things in life.
Sixth grade social studies class at Poland Middle School got to take a trip back in time. And we're talking way back. Like about 2 million years ago. The earliest creatures on our planet needed food, water, and shelter just like we do today. But before the best human inventions of bottled water and Twinkies, earliest man had to turn to natural resources to meet their needs. Students were given a very small spoon and 3 water sources. Their goal was to fill up their cup so that they could bring it back to their shelter. This task turned out much harder than expected.
3,
I quit. Was there any advantages that could be found gathering water this way? No, Henry.
You could have got the water held the bottom.
You could just grab your spoon, like by the actual spoon edge, and then as soon as you got there, you probably had enough, and have your hand underneath.
Good.
You could have went to a water source that not many people go to.
Oh, so some of you started going to a water source that wasn't frequented often. Raise your hand if you used the closest water source. Okay, did anyone use the water source that was farthest away? Okay, did anyone compare the water sources before you started taking water? Okay, Kaylee, talk to me about that.
The one with the less water, I tried not to use, but the one with more water, there were more people at it, so I used the one with less water because there were less people at it.
It got dirty, right? The more people who were putting their stuff in it and collecting it, the dirtier it got. How many of you filled your cup? Who filled a cup? No one. So not one person got enough water for the day. How many of you got half a cup of water? Okay, so we got a little bit of water.
Mrs. Schaefer's crew might not call themselves survivors yet. They have to make it all the way upstairs so they can build their own shelters. Let's have a look at Mrs. O'Dwyer's class, who already built their shelters. Amongst many threats to early man, simply running out of time was a big one, whether it be sunset or an impending weather event. Earliest man discovered shelters as means to protect them and their belongings. And in 10 minutes, which might have been hundreds of years back then, our students learned about reinforcement and how utilizing resources correctly could lead to more speed or stability.
Okay.
And then I have 2 popsicle sticks for these 2 pieces of paper, so it'll stand up and it won't go like.
Okay, so you use your popsicle shapes to make kind of a base for that, and then you have a covered roof. Okay, perfect. So it's going to cover you from the elements. You have a top. It'll protect you. It should protect you from wind, from rain. Protects from the elements, so it has a covered roof. It's open on the sides, but what does this kind of look like to you guys?
Tent.
A tent, okay, kind of tent-like. Bailey, what do you have going on over there?
So I have 4 walls, and then you can take off the roof, and I have a bed.
Okay.
Set it on a tree, and it stays.
Okay, so it's like a lean-to, right? You could prop it up against something. Okay, you have something elaborate going on over here, Matthew. What did you build over here?
I built a church. So I have a little bed. I forgot to put the icons in, but I built like a tent and then a rain cover.
Were you able to construct what you envisioned in the amount of time that you had? No. Was that a challenge?
Yes.
Okay.
So basically I was trying to build like a tent, but then it wasn't working out because it wouldn't like bend and glue. So I had to start over and just ended up with this.
Okay. What did we notice about trying to share the resources?
When like someone else is like using the glue, you had to use something else first.
Okay. So for survival, we have to, as early man, we're competing for resources.
In the real world, there'd be strong enough leaves or rope that we didn't have to use the glue.
Just maybe like sap from something. I agree. What would be the advantage to being able to take your shelter with you?
Native Americans
followed buffalo herds for food, so they moved their tents around so that they could follow the herds and act.
What are some of the advantages to a more permanent shelter? Saba.
They're probably more like compact and like stronger.
Like to protect like from like if you're in like an area with tornadoes or like high winds.
A tent structure would be like you can stay in one spot and like you don't have to move and worry about like stressing where you're gonna go, what you're gonna do with your shelter, and what you need to find in order to make your shelter better.
2 million years later, and our Poland Middle School students prove they are some talented humans.